Let's see, today's project is going to make some wrist straps. I buy them from Amazon, they look like this, and you put them onto whatever project you want. However, I need to make some today. And I looked around, and these are some of the sizes that I have. So, let's see, we need a sheet of paper. Generally, well, actually not generally, but the way that I make straps, the piece of material needs to be about 4 times the size of these holes here. So if I line them up, this is what I have here. So let's see. Oh, this one has to be like 5 mm or 3/8. So 5 mm 3/8. This one here needs to be about 1/2 inch or like about 12 mm. This one is 15. Okay. 15 or 5/8. 5/8 or 15 mm. These two look the same. It needs to be about 3/4 or about 18. 3/4, 18. This one looks the same. Let's see. This one's about 19 mm or 3/4. 3/4, 19 mm. So 18, 19 about the same. And this one is, let's say 3/4-ish. 20 mm. I'm gonna make it for probably this one, and this size, and maybe that size. Oh my, too many sizes. When you make wrist straps, not one or two, you can make a bunch. So I want to make a template. I think this one right here is the first one I'm gonna do. I need about 3/4 or about 19 mm. Somewhere in here, 18, 19. That way I can use it for this one, and possibly that one. So I got 18, 19, and 20. So I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna do all these ones together. I'm gonna go 19 mm. And the length, I figured, I kind of measured this off of my wrist. Your small hand, about 12 inches, I guess, as a female hand. If you have a large hand, probably about 16 inches in length. So I'm going to start off with 14. My choices are kind of one of these. Gotta make sure I have 14 inches. I do. For this, I don't have 14 inches here, so this is out. Of course, cutting this is pretty difficult. You see the thickness there? It's quite thick. Let's see what else I got. I got some thinner sheets. It looks like about 2 millimeters. The white one was nylon, that was 3 millimeters. This looks really good. But I don't have 14 inches, so that's out. I have a scrap of this. This is 1 millimeter, and I do have 14. So, pretty simple. It's either going to be out of this cardstock, or it's going to be out of this plastic here. And I think the plastic would be better. So first you want to cut the length to 14. That way, maybe I can get more than one out of this. I don't think so though. We're going to need a straight edge first. So let's try and get a straight edge here if we can. That's too difficult to get a straight edge. Let me go put this on the cutting table and I'll be right back. Okay, that was much easier on the cutting table. It's just a bigger area. I have bigger rulers. So, I need it to be 19 wide. Whoa. Mistake, 19 times 4. So that's, was it 80 minus 4? Oh no. 4 times 20, yep. 80 minus 4, so 76 mm. Wow. I'm barely going to get one out of this. Okay. So 76. It's right there. And 76 is right there. 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 Okay. Let me go and cut that and I'll be right back. In retrospect, oh, I think I broke the tip. Making it out of the cardstock probably would have been much easier. This is only 1 mil, but it takes 3 passes with the X-Acto to get it cut. So, I'm not sure it was a good idea to go with this material. Okay, that's the right edge. Good. So we can base it off of that. Now we got to go 14 inches or 355. So I think we'll just go 14 inches so I don't have to add 5 mm. This ruler is just not long enough. Yep, takes 3 passes to cut that off. So maybe the cardstock would have been a better idea. Okay, so this is the template to make it for these. Let's go get some material and I'll be right back. All right, found the piece of scrap here before we, I guess we use some leather. I will I wonder if it's possible to use this to cut it out. Might be possible. To use this as a guide. So you don't really have to use the bump technique. We'll just draw the X-Acto on here. That seemed to have worked. Sort of. I think we'll just go get some double stick masking tape next time. That sort of works. Okay. Yeah, it's not good. A little wider would have been better, but okay. Now there's a few ways to do this. You can put it inside, or you can unravel it and sew it this way, and unravel and sew it this way. But we're going to tuck this, on this particular one, I'm going to tuck this, I'm going to sew it together. Sort of like that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna move over to the sewing machine now, and we're gonna go stitch this. Let's move the camera. So, want to make sure you put your ring on first, and I'm gonna put the ring on the inside. See that on the inside? Not that it's very important. When you're done, you could actually spin it around, but it's on the inside. See? And now there's two ways to do it. You can just sew these two together like this, or you could actually be less lazy, open it all the way up, open the other one up, and sew it together like that. And it generally comes out better because the edges match better. So it's like sewing just the two like sides together. I'm going to use some tape. Just match up the corners here. Guess this tape's not sticking that well. And just so, let's see. I'm going to make it about 1/2 inch seam allowance. You can choose whatever seam allowance you want. 1/4, 3/8, they're all good. Just that 1/2 inch, if you're going to open your seams, is a lot easier. It's where you split your seams, open them up if you don't want bulk. For me, I don't really care. I don't mind the bulk. But if you do mind the bulk, then split the seams. Okay, here's the seam. Clamp that down. Get all the rest straight. Okay, right here is the seam. And I want that to match up, so I'm going to start sewing right there. Match it best I can. So I'm going to start sewing before the seam. And I'm not going to back tack because when I come around, I'm just going to run it right over. This is basically the top stitch. However, I'm sewing the inside, and I guess it depends on which way you turn it, inside and out later. This will become the top. So right now the top is the back. I'm going to pull that out. Bring the thread through. I'll just quickly tie this one off right here. and continue on. Okay, same thing for the other side. Gotta find the seam. I'm gonna start off on before the seam, and okay, then turn it over, and then move the seam right here very close. So right here is the seam. Move it right over there. Now we'll move the camera back and take it from the bench. Okay, we're back. That's the one I just made. Here's the one I made before and the camera died. I went with a smaller clip just to see how it turns out. It's folding over a little there, but so let's see, where is the seam? So here's the seam, hard to see, and here's the seam. It's very hard to see. So what I'm gonna do now is put one rivet there. Probably right there. Just find the more or less center. Go right through. Okay. Let me go get some rivets in there and I'll be right back. All right, let's see. Let's bring it in closer here. Okay, one where I went with the matching, and one when I went with a silver. This is darker, so I went with the matching. This is later, so I went with the silver. And they look like that. And seems to be okay, I guess. Guess it could be longer for my hand. Maybe I mismeasured. This is 14 inches, but for my hand, maybe a little bit bigger would be better. Anyway, that's how I make my straps there. Now that I know this works out, I'll probably make the next few with leather. Hope that helps if anyone's going to make some straps. I guess you could make it longer and make a lanyard or whichever, but that's how I make my straps.